How many times have you reached an equal endgame but still lost? It's because you don't know these principles. I'm going to be breaking down some concepts that you need to know for the endgame. And guys, I'm a chess master and this helps me for sure. So ensure that you're implementing this and elevate your gameplay. Let's go. Let's get right into business. What would you play for white in this position? You could pause the video. I'm going to be giving the answer now. So if you found the move, bishop takes d5, then you're on the right path because that is the correct answer. Now, for me to explain what is happening here and how is an endgame with equal pawns completely winning for the white pieces. Let's take a step back and I'm going to be showing you guys this position. Now, for endgames, you need to understand pawn structure. Now, for this one, it's called the outside passed pawn. It's basically a pawn on the edge of the board that has no pawns contesting it. It's basically like a runaway, guys. Like, if you don't get your king over there and try to stop it, it could just queen. Now, this is extremely important, especially if it's just king and pawns. Now, what we want to, basically what we want to do when we have pawns like this is use it as bait. This pawn is not going to checkmate block or anything. It's just going to be pushed down the board and then we're going to be finishing the job on the other side of the board. So it's going to look like this. When the king moves, you just push the pawn. We know that the pawn won't be able to queen successfully. It can queen, but it won't be queen successfully, you know? But the job is done, guys. That pawn has already done its work. It has been used as bait. And then we're going to be collecting the rest of the pawns on the opposite side of the board. So ensure that you guys have that one down. And just like that, guys, white is queening and the game is going to be wrapped up. Unless white, stalemates this game by some magical. Just don't stalemate, guys. Let's go. So we now have this as, again, the base. Ensure that you understand this, the outside pass pawn. It's going to help you to understand this position a lot better. Let's go. So for end games, you're basically playing for positions, all right? Now after pawn takes, we're going to be covering both captures, but this one first. We're trying to set up an outside pass pawn. So we have two pawns on the side. Here's one. This is what we call a pawn majority. Now you can use your pawn majority to create pass pawns. And how is this done? I won't be going into too much detail here about like the adjacent pawn and stuff, but by you pushing these pawns, you can actually create, again, the outside pass pawn. It's a pawn that is on the edge, like furthest away from the rest of the pawns, that can basically just run down the board, guys. And just like that. Remember, we don't want this pawn to do much work. All it has to do is become bait. So by this move, pawn to b4, it's basically giving up a pawn temporarily. After pawn takes, king takes. Look, we're down a pawn. But because we use that pawn again as bait, the king is so far away that we can actually collect black's pawn on d4 and simply winning this pawn on what's that, f5 and just winning the game, guys. Chill stuffs, right, guys? So we're going to be covering the next capture now. So let's go. Now let's cover king takes d5. So you can basically hear a lot of stuffs, but how much of it do you actually understand? So I'm going to be breaking it down in this video. You would have heard before that you need to keep your pawns solid, connected, locked together. But why? White has a very decent pawn structure. Black, on the other hand, has a split pawn structure on the queen side. Why is this important? White just played pawn to b3. And again, if you look to the left of the screen here, it's completely winning for white. These are the things that masters know, guys. Ensure that you're taking notes. Let's go. Now, let's cover king to c5 first. Just to say that black is a little bit stubborn, let's see who is paying attention. You guys are gonna be so educated after this game, not game, but this video, that you guys can even see the end game, like the end result in the future. So after a4, king to b6, and look at this, pawn to b4, and what have we just created? We have created again the outside pass pawn. We're just gonna be using it as bait, guys. Remember, using the pass pawn as bait and winning that game. You guys are so advanced right now. I don't even have to move the pieces. You could be playing against somebody, you get this pawn structure, you're like, pack up the board. That's it. Outside pass pawn. So we already know that king to c5 is not possible. You see? Either you know this or you don't, which is why persons take the extra time to actually learn these stuffs. Okay? Pawn to b3. Use your skills, elevate your gameplay. So what if black doesn't play king to c5? Let's say he tries this move, pawn to c5. Well, the same thing is going to happen. But we're going to be learning a little bit more about the endgame, as I said before, about weak pawns. And why do you need to keep your pawns together? No, when you have weak pawns, they can simply just fall off the board, guys. They cannot be protected by another pawn. So white just wastes the move, collected opposition. That's another topic. But after king to d6, look, black has no useful moves, and he now has to step back. Then we go forward, guys. Remember in chess, practice to go forward. If you catch yourself going backwards, you're probably cooked. After this move, king to c6, now a4 again, and black's position is absolutely frozen. It goes king to d6. We're going to cover that, but let's cover this one first, which is king to d6. We're going to simply walk our king towards the queen side and win the weak pawn. Look, because the pawns are split, they're weak. So they're going to be falling off the board one by one. King to d5, king takes, and just like that, we have won a pawn, and this pawn is going to queen, regardless of what black tries. And just like that, white is winning again. Alright? Hope you guys are following. Let's even take a step back, guys. I know that you guys are going to be, again, fully focused for this video. Let's say that black is a little bit stubborn and he goes king to b6, then king to d5. This is also another thing with endgames which we call Zugzwang. But the base, what I want you guys to get from this video is that pawn structure really matters, guys. So work on this for your endgames. No, look at this again. Black is absolutely stuck. Absolutely stuck. If he moves his king, we just take the pawn, we win the game. But I'm going to be giving you guys a small quiz to see who is actually paying attention for this entire video. Let's say that black just gives us a free pawn. We take king here. What would you play for white in this position? Would you A, dance the king around and try to wait to see what black is going to do? B, utilize what you got in this video and try to push a pawn and maybe create an outside pass pawn? Or C, offer a draw? The correct answer is clearly to push the pawn to b4, and just like that, guys, we have the outside pass pawn ready. Now again, just to make sure that we're on the same path, we have nobody needs to be trying to checkmate with this side pawn because again it's impossible, but we are going to be using that pawn as bait and simply winning the rest of the pawns on the opposite side, and just like that, guys, we're winning the game. If you found this video useful, just hit the subscribe button, like and share, and thanks again for watching, guys. See you again another time.